The Wasatch Mountains in Utah. Yesterday fall, today winter has arrived with a vengeance. A day that was supposed to start at midday is finally getting underway at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Martin Haven. Alongside me, John Morgan. Welcome to Park City, Utah, the venue for the 2002 Winter Olympic Games, for an evening of bobsled racing. And we kick off with the women's bob. John, on this Olympic track that always produces close results.
The track is short compared to the one we're on last week in Lake Placid, but it's fast, same type of speeds. It's really steep up top of the track, and it's real challenging to get down the track fast and consistent. Alana Myers-Taylor and Asia Evans have the start record here. Curve one, so quiet steering here. Any mistake here, you have no chance. This is where it starts to get steep. Curve 2, 3, now into this big sweeping right sunny curve. You eject out of there. I mean, it's 4-story drop. 5, 6, snowy. It propels you even more forward, and here we are into a straightaway called Albert's Alley. This is where a big sweeping left here is going to give you 4 Gs. You're still not through accelerating the Wasatch curve, and now this is the 82-mile-an-hour speeds potential. Olympic curve coming up here, 14, and now the big challenge in the bottom part of the track, uphill. You can throw your whole race away right here in that uphill section, around the finish curve and the finish. Not hard to get down, Mark. We've only seen one crash in training all week, but boy, is it precise.
Track record for the silver medalists from the 2006 Games, Shauna Roebuck and Val Fleming, who live here in town. Val Fleming is on the jury for today's races as well. Our World Cup reflects the last race. That was last week. Kelly Humphreys, the winner from Alana Myers-Taylor, and the surprise bronze medalist, Stephanie Schneider of Germany. Well, we have 20 sleds in our field today, and John, no more than 5 of them were in the World Cup race here 2 years ago, and we've got probably about a third of them have never raced on this track before.
That's an amazing stat. 20 athletes in the field, 20 drivers, only 5 have been here. And you can see, winner, this was not like this yesterday.
And overnight, it rained hard and long.
This morning, we left our hotel, it was raining, and then the sun came out, then the wind came in, and winter has arrived.
Yeah, winter has arrived. Our women's skeleton race was called off at midday, but the men's race, which was supposed to go ahead this afternoon, has been moved in. So we're going to do the first heat of the women, then the 4-man, then the second heat of the women, then the second heat of the 4-man. So this is high pressure for the jury, for the track workers, RJ Shannon and his crew, who've been here since late last night, early this morning, fighting the weather.
Can't believe they've got a track.
I can't believe
what the rain we had here last night and this morning.
Well, they were well prepared, but boy, they've put in some hours, and there are lots more to go. And for our cameramen as well, John, there's never a day I'm glad I'm indoors in the booth and not outdoors being a cameraman. Guys, have a good evening, because it's going to be cold. Well, let's get the race underway here. Second race of the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. First of our athletes is Konomi Isuzu of Japan, 31-year-old. It's only her second ever time here. She raced once in North America's Cup, once in the World Cup.
You saw the wind gusts up there. I really think somebody's going to get caught in the wind gusts. You're going to see some start times that you don't expect. It's going to be related to the wind.
You see a little bit of snow in the track. It's just going to flurry in because it is quite gusty. It's gritty and sort of icy rather than big wet splodges. So the track workers leaping in to clear up immediately the sleds go by.
You know, the shades are down. Tough on our camera team to give you the coverage. 117 clicks. One
of the bonuses of racing at night is that the sun isn't there to melt the track, and so a lot of the shades are open. Down into the big Olympic curve.
Now this is the graveyard of time, I call it. In the finish area there, uphill section, you could throw everything away. 51.73. That's exactly 3 seconds from the track record. So we aren't going to see any track records here tonight.
So much snow in the ice. Top speed at the bottom, 79 miles an hour, nevertheless. And they're up to 63 at the second speed trap. As you said, they really build speed so fast.
And look at the gust of wind here. That's going to, you know, it's a little bit of luck of the draw with that wind coming in like that. We've seen that happen here before. 4-man racing, especially here in Park City. The drift in Albert's Alley, she taps before she gets in that Wasatch curve. That's costly.
Down safely, big smiles on their faces. So there's Konomiya Suzu and her brakewoman Natsumi Kawasaki. Second sled is Sabina Hafner, the 33-year-old who last raced here in 2009. And a late change of brakewoman was supposed to be Evelyn Rebsamen. It's her twin sister Rahel who makes her second ever World Cup start. She raced in Pyeongchang, identical twins. She's the older of the two by 4 minutes.
They were fun yesterday. They came in for a little social media. Something you can see about the Swiss twins on our IBSF website.
So Sabina Hafner
has it better since 2009.
No, exactly. Two-time junior world champion, 2009, 2010. And there's Evelyn on the left.
Well, they're going to give up some time here. They should maybe at least match the Japanese sled that just came down. But the Firecracker, 5:53. Start time.
Didn't have a start for the Japanese. No. Well, she's in front anyway.
Well, she should be. She's a good driver. Experienced, is one of the most experienced drivers in the field. If you think of it, she was racing in 2006 to 10. Took 4 years off she was an electrician, then she went back and became an electrical engineer in her 4 years off in the sport.
Speed's a good, a fraction behind the Japanese sled, but she's still up on time, and that's related to this. You can see the wind blowing up the track there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough coverage day for our camera guys. Look at that straight line through the graveyard section, that uphill section. TV doesn't do it justice. 51:43. That's appropriate. 30 hundredths is a lot of time on this track. There is, especially in the four-man bobsledding, there's going to be ties. This track's persona is famous for ties, and a lot of people hanging out in the leader's box. Look at the wind. Look at the wind. Here's the Albert's Alley, rudder tip. She should be on the left side of our screen, but she drifts over with hardly any steering, and that's why she's 3/10 ahead.
Shakes her head. She knows that there was more in there. She hasn't been here for 6 seasons. Up on the ice is a driver who has never raced here before, 23-year-old Andrea Greco. Now, she's the youngest driver in the field. First time ever in North America. She's got a total of just 6 World Cup starts as a driver, and Beatrice Pugh behind her. This is her second ever bobsled race of any kind. Lake Placid, before then, she'd never sat in a bobsled.
Is she the one that's the junior triple jump champion?
Yeah.
Junior?
No, that's on the other Romanian sled. No,
they recruited 2 really good young athletes as brakemen here.
Andrea admitted to me yesterday in training, I still really don't know where I'm going. So for them, it's get down, get some experience.
Well, get in, get down. Oh, the brakeman had a little trouble getting in. Look at the start though.
5:40. That's good speed.
It's probably the youngest team in the field right here. For sure, the brakeman, they also
actually, Beatrice, the brakeman, is 31, so she's a very experienced sprinter.
Take that back. But the driver was the, as you say, the youngest.
Youngest driver in the field. She's 23 years old, and she spent last year braking for Maria Constantin and driving as well. She's got a little bit of a worry.
2/10 ahead, that's relative to the start.
Yeah, this is all good. Ahead of Sabina Hafner with her experience. This is good drive from Andrea Greco.
Yeah, this graveyard coming up here, this uphill section.
This is the confidence she needs, because the only track she's driven in North America is Whistler, and the only time she's been there, she crashed quite heavily.
Wow. Look at that. Wow. And she lost about 1,500 hundredths down there in the graveyard to tap in the straightaway going uphill. Throws away all your momentum and speed. But again, she's never been here before.
That was a good-looking drive.
Well, the start, 1,300ths better start than Hafner. But if I'm the Romanians, I like this.
Oh, and a slip look from her brakewoman there on the block.
Yeah, again, how many trips has she got? I mean, how experienced. This is up top where the speeds are slow, and that's a no-no. Hard to believe she's still in the lead, though, with that mistake here in the Olympic curve down below. High, up, down, and then she skidded on the exit into the graveyard, but she's the leader.
Well, she may not be the leader for much longer. Next up is our European champion, 27-year-old German Mariama Yamanka. Second time here in Park City on her debut in 2006, her third ever World Cup race. she finished 6th.
Surprised a lot of Germans in that day because you know, they weren't high on her because of her starts. Well, Erin Nolte, she's come back from injury last year, and look at that start, 5:30. Now 5:10's the best, is the track record at the start. I don't know if we're going to see that tonight. But
Elina Nolte has only ever made 11 World Cup starts before today, which shocked me because she's been sort of in and out of the German team for a while.
Injuries.
Yeah, exactly so.
A year to be healthy. It's the Olympic season. And look at that skid, that tap before the Wasatch curve.
So much snow around, you know, that's going to make the track extra skiddy for the sleds.
Big lead here.
Yeah.
The perfect line here in the graveyard. A little tap. Still worth some time. Again, this is going to... Ooh, look at that hit at the finish curve. Look at that, 6/200's better.
Well, she'd expect to be ahead of Andrea Grecu by that margin, definitely.
6th.
Yamaka finished 5th last weekend in the season opener in Lake Placid.
6th here 2 years ago in January, so 23 months ago, 22 months ago.
She's got another couple of seasons of driving since then. So
that's left side of the screen's the optimum line, but don't touch before you hit the take-on. She doesn't steer away. Here again, now in the uphill section, I keep referring to it as the graveyard of time. And a little tap in this course worth hundreds. It's going to separate the people on the podium.
Everybody puffing and blowing. We're 7,000 feet above sea level here. This is the highest track in the calendar by a considerable margin. From the European champion, our current leader, to the Olympic champion, Kaylee Humphries, the 32-year-old. Last week wrapped up her 20th World Cup win, plus one team competition winning World Cup, so 21 maybe. Melissa Lottholtz behind her. Last time they raced here in Park City, they won together.
This should be in the 20s, low 20s.
Kaylee's had 2 wins and 2 other podium finishes here with 4 different break women.
You won't see too many hits off the wall. I hope I don't jinx you. If there's anybody going to come down the track pretty straight, it's this 2-time Olympic champion and, as you say, a lot of World Cup victories.
Yeah, 20 and counting.
Only 1,200's up. 500's better at the start, 12 there. She should accelerate out to 15, 2000's the next climb. Look how smooth, perfect line there. There's the speed, the best speed into that spot. 73 miles an hour. Now watch her in the graveyard. Probably going to come right down the middle of the track like a video game.
Quarter of a second up, she avoids the skids.
Yeah, this is experience, and this is, okay, she posts the best time and runs away, 50-42.
Well, you got to think that
didn't accelerate away from Jamaica on the bottom. She had a 2000's lead.
Speed at the bottom was great though, 82.6 miles an hour. That is
snowy
motoring.
Track.
Yeah, yeah.
Snowy track.
Absolutely, that is motoring. You got to think that the win here is going to go to a North American team.
Well, start has the best start, has the best speed, has the best drive, and you know. They can show you all the replays, so she didn't touch any of it. She came right down the middle of the track.
The knowledge, the experience, you know, with Sven Bosch setting up the sled, getting the right runners for the snowy conditions, that's so important as well. Kaylee Humphries, the leader, 5 of our 20 sleds down in Park City. Nighttime racing comes to women's bobsleigh. Round 2 of the BMW IBSF World Cup Series. We're in Park City, Utah, the 2002 Winter Olympic venue. There's your leader, Kaylee Humphries, trying to get her great woman, Melissa Lottholtz, out of her helmet. Top of the track is the second of our 3 Canadian sleds. It's Christine De Bruyne with Cynthia Appia behind her. De Bruyne.
Little track delay here. Must be somebody sweeping someplace. They might be, after 5 sleds, might be doing a little sweeping protocol.
Bump on the nose for Melissa Lottholtz there.
I have no idea.
Yeah, us too.
Here we go. Red lights.
Sven Bosch at the front of the sled, Todd Hayes at the back. Normally there's a sweeping protocol that's announced beforehand and you don't just sort of start one up.
Okay, there's the green light. Probably some sweeping down there.
28-year-old from Edmonton, now lives in Calgary. Former sprinter Christine De Bruyne. Cynthia Appia from Toronto.
You know, and I was impressed last week. She had a couple of mishaps in training in Lake Placid. She ended up being 6th place.
8th ever World Cup race for Christine de Bruyn. She's been twice here in North America's Cup racing, so she's got knowledge of the track.
Boy, I'll be in and down quickly.
Yep.
5:29, decent start, but a tap on a curve one, and that's just a no-no on this track.
Cynthia Atvia's raced with Kaylee Humphries quite a few times, so certainly no problem with the starting in this sled.
1700's back, 500's at the start of the 17. That tap, Kaylee Humphries, tap anything. So that lead, there's some good lines there.
Yep.
Boy, the speed though,
174 miles an hour, a couple of miles an hour slower than Kaylee Humphries.
Now she's really falling off the pace.
Yeah.
She's going to fall probably behind Jamaica and stay in front of the Romanians. Look at that, there's that graveyard section, the experience. You saw Humphries come through there like a video game.
Third place.
De Bruyn, 5,500's back, ahead of the Romanians by 3/10. That was not a clean trip for Christine, but she's been here before on North America's Cup Tour.
She's been here a couple of times, but this is only her 8th World Cup start, so still relatively inexperienced as a driver.
They'll be looking at those films tonight. She'll know. The start here was decent, only 400s off Humphries, but the tap out of curve one, that's worth 10 or 1,500s at the bottom in my bobsled mind. And this one here, watch this one. This is going uphill, and it's steep. You can see on the right. I mean, TV doesn't do it justice how steep that is coming uphill.
Long skid and a tap. That drops her down into 3rd spot with 6 sleds down. Well, we've had a Canadian, another Canadian. Hey, guess what? Here's another Canadian. Lissa Rissling turned 29 yesterday. It was birthday day for Felicia George as well, so they slid together in training. But her race brake woman is the 25-year-old Christian Bodnowski.
It's going to be her debut, isn't it?
It's her second World Cup start. She made a debut last week. Yeah.
Right. 6. I think Lisa was very happy with her performance last week at the Classic. Remember, she was the best Canadian at the pre-Olympic test in Pyeongchang last year, and had a lot of promise coming into this season. And she knows the Lake Placid track well. I think she was a little disappointed.
This is also driven 2- and 4-man here in Park City. This is her 10th World Cup start. So again, you know, Kaylee Humphries with triple the number of starts that her teammates have together.
Well, she's the same as her teammate De Bruyn, 3/10 down. Could come out more 43 now. If she gets clean in the straightaway, she'll have a chance to move into the 3rd spot. And not perfect, but better than De Bruyn for sure.
Ahead of De Bruyn at the line by 300. There you go. Well, it's going to be a battle between the two of them unless Kaylee does something quite bizarre.
Hey, Mark, there's races within races between the teams.
Absolutely.
People want to emerge as Canada 1 or Canada 2 or Canada 3, and it's all relative to your World Cup points and standings.
And the reason, because if the Canadians get 2 sleds that go to the games, the second best rated Canadian goes as well.
Yeah.
And that's a really important thing to gain.
That's the push bar here. Boy, looks like she slipped a little bit. They did not hit it together.
Yeah.
And their start was off. It seemed like they were a little bit more competitive last week.
And in these conditions, particularly when you're going into the wind, maybe starting on the handle is a help.
Tap there. I mean, every picture tells a story there. That was not clean.
7 sleds down in our field of 20. Now the oldest driver in the field, Jamie Grubel-Poser, the former heptathlete from Lake Placid, our World Cup champion. She's 34 alongside her 33-year-old Lauren Gibbs. Second last week, Lauren, in Lake Placid with Alana Myers. Bronze with Jamie last time here in Park City. So this is a medal-winning combo here.
Jamie finished just off the podium last week, a little disappointed. Start though, 5:19, the best start of the competition. And let's see if this Cornell University heptathlete can point the sled in the same direction as Kaylee Humphries did.
Well, here's a little bit about Jamie. She's been on the podium in the last 3 races in Park City. She's been off the podium 3 times in her last 21 World Cup outings.
Clean there on the Alberts Alley, only down to 8. She had a double-digit lead. Going to be losing time back. Speed not as good. Almost a mile and a half down. But the straightaway, she's clean here. She'll have a chance for a single.
Little skid.
Oh, a couple of hits. It's going to be right to the 100. 10.
Whoa. Front. Wow,
Whoa.
she found something at the bottom.
Yeah, there's some magic there because she was not perfect. We heard the sound of the tap in the graveyard section, but you know, she lost a little bit in the mid part of the course up in her Albert's Alley. She double digits and then back to single digits.
Found a little bit uphill to the finish line.
Well, she beat Kelly Humphreys not down the track, but at the start. 500's better at the start. She's usually 1500s at the bottom, all things being equal.
Brittany Reinbold of the USA is our second American slider, 33 years old. 12th World Cup start for Brittany as a driver, her second here. She has been here half a dozen times at a lower level. Asia Evans, 29-year-old brakewoman, her second ever World Cup race was here. She's got 2 World Cup wins here with Alana Myers-Taylor, both on the same weekend.
Well, this should be a 30 start going to Brittany. 26, that tells you the power of Asia Evans, who bronze medalist, of course, at the Olympics with Jamie Grubel.
Starting to become a veteran brakewoman, started in the 2012-13 season.
The U.S. is so deep in female brakemen. It's unbelievable the talent the USA team has in the corral, that's for sure. They just shuffle them up. Every second week in a row, all 3 drivers have 3 different brakemen.
Third spot at the moment on the split, so Brittany Reinbold. It's a good-looking run from her.
Speed's pretty good.
Only 1400s behind. She's really clinging on to her teammate.
Speed. Oh, they're nice, clean line there in the graveyard. Let's see, 129.4.
She's going to be close.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great run.
That is a really good run.
She's only within 800ths of Humphreys. I say that might be one of the best runs for Brittany Reinbold in her World Cup 2 or 3 year. She was here in 16 also.
This might be the track that she knows best, I think.
Ninth in the World Cup here in January of 2016, the flight instructor. And here's out of Albert's Alley, and this is how she maintained her top 3 time. Perfect line, pivotal part of the track, that exit.
Brittany Reinbold, Asia Evans, 3rd spot with a podium position at the moment. And 1 real threat still to come. Maybe 2, because Stephanie Schneider stepped out of the shadows last week in Lake Placid. She made her World Cup debut as a driver in February 2016. Her first World Cup medal was bronze last week in only her 7th World Cup race today.
This should be a 20 start, maybe better. Everybody was surprised with that bronze medal last week, including the driver. You know, Schneider herself, 24.
Last time Schneider was here, she got a bronze medal pushing Kathleen Martini in 2012.
Started off last year in Whistler, crashed 3 times, broke her collarbone. Oh, that's a mistake there, late. Broke her collarbone, came back in Winterberg when he got to Europe after January, crashed again. She made it into the World Championships, but she had a very injury-plagued year last year. What a way for her to start last weekend.
It's her first time here as a driver. Still a good-looking run. Second fastest start. She's in
there.
4th.
Watch out here. She's really late. Then the shades are covering the exit of 13 to 14. Gotta believe she lost some time there. She was late twice. Look at her duck her head for aerodynamics. Boy, for
ahead of teammate Mariama Yamanka.
For that while she was 600s ahead at the start, only 4th to bottom. Not a smooth ride, but this is her World Cup debut as a driver on this track, and she's in a medal position.
And don't forget, she's never driven here before. She trained in the daylight. Now she's racing in the dark.
Watch this late. Look at the sled flop there. Late into the next curve. And then the Olympicer, look how high she gets there, goes back down, comes back up on the outlet. Crossover here is not smooth. You can see a little bit of a skid. Sled hits the take-on before she gets in. That's friction, steering, loss of time. But you know, expect that. She's not that experienced.
10 sleds down. Jamie Grubel-Poser leads Kaylee Humphreys and Brittany Reinbold. It's a tight top 3. 11th of our starters is the world champion Alana Myers-Taylor, 33-year-old. She has 35-year-old Lolo Jones behind her. Alana won with all 3 Joneses in the team last year. They tied silver with Jamie in race 1 here 3 years ago.
Well, this has got to be in the teens. No.
5:22.
Wow. Not too many times you see Alana get outstarted by her teammates.
They won together in Eagles last year, which is another starter's track like this is. Alana won both races here, 2013 and 14.
900's back. Speed 64.7. That's a kilometer, mile an hour down to Humphreys.
She's ahead of teammate Brittany Reinbold. Needs to close in on Kaylee. In fact, she's slipped behind Brittany Reinbold at the moment.
She's usually the best starter in the field. The lines in the graveyard.
This race last year was one of, last time we were here, was one of 4 that she missed after concussion early in the season. 50.49 gets her into 3rd place, 100th ahead of Brittany Reinbold, 1700ths off the lead.
Okay, thanks.
That's the fastest of starts, all the cleanest of drives, John.
Lost a lot of time up top. Watch her on the left side going into this curve. Look at the tap, that's it. Our team picked that up. Look at the spray. She hit the outlet of the doubles luge start there. That's why she is 1700ths back. That was worth 10 or 15 hundredths of a second, right in that mistake with the sunny curve.
Good news is there are things to tidy up for the second heat. Next up is our reigning junior world champion pair, Misha McNeil and Mika Moore, the 24-year-old driver from Consett, County Durham, 25-year-old sprinter from Cardiff in Wales. Mika Moore behind her. Now, these are, without question, the most vertically challenged pairing in the combination. These 2 girls are very petite. One previous visit for Misha McNeil here, that was in the double race a couple of years ago, 13 and 14. She had 18th and 19th place finishes.
Place last week in Lake Placid.
Yeah, best results 7th in the World Cup. 5:19, that's a really good get. Was that a 19? No, 36. 5:36, sorry. Misread that completely. 5:36.
He's looking at numbers in the sheets too. So drives 8th place last week. I mean, I was very impressed with that. And of course, with all of the distractions they've had with the self-funding platform that they had to initiate just to get out on tour. Big skid there. Under the Wasatch curve, speeds way down. That tap really is going to be costly. She's got to be clean here to have any chance to be in the top 7 or 8. She's looking like about a 9-10 place finish.
Clean at the bottom will help. And looking to slip into 9th ahead of Andrea Grecu of Romania.
8th best start, but the mistake talked about out of Albert's alley straightaway, it's a little bit like a chicane.
Looks like she also clipped the wall on the luge start.
So this is the, look at this, bang.
Well, that's less of a clip and more of a thump, isn't it? That's a big hit.
That's worth 2/10. And then this didn't help. Watch how hard she hits the bump there. That throws you in the middle of the curve, causes you to steer more. Steering, friction, all adds up. Got around the corner.
Reigning junior world champions in 9th place. Next up is Alexandra Rodionova, the 33-year-old former luger for Russia. 27-year-old Anastasia Kochetsova makes her 10th World Cup start for the Russian team.
I bet you she's been down this track 100+ times in luge.
She's been here once in a bobsled, and that was in North America's Cup training. 2 6th place finishes are her best results in World Cup racing, in Sochi and in Whistler, where we go next week.
Just doesn't have the starts. The Russian skeleton team, both the men and the women are rockets at the start. That's why they're successful. The Russian women's team, oh, there's a mistake there. 5-6 combination. Ooh, real high grip there, too. On this track, this is one of those tracks, Winterberg, Calgary, it's working. cookie-cutter tracks where the start is such an emphasis on the start.
10th at the start, 10th on the splits as she gets down to the finish corner. Ball clatters the wall.
Going to be some unhappy Russians looking at it here.
Yeah, 10th, 51.23.
And all the experience, the equipment, the training, the coaching. She, with all of her experience from luge,
Yeah.
Listen, the successful bobsledders come from luge.
The mighty Russian machine behind two girls from Britain who are funding their own campaign. There's Anastasia Kochetsova closest to us.
Look at this, how high she gets. She might hit the roof there. And that's not the way to do it. And then down here, she still can't get control of the sled perfectly in the Wasatch curve. And, what do you say about hits?
More hits than Elvis. Well, that wasn't quite that bad, but...
That was, not on this track it was.
Yeah, that big hit in the Wasatch curve, you really see the athletes get thrown around in the sled.
A lot of heavy breathing, that's for altitude.
From Alexandra Rodionova to her teammate, 30-year-old Nadezhda Sergeva, with 29-year-old brakewoman Yulia Shokshweva.
They should start better. I would say low 30s.
Sergeva was a brakewoman before she started driving in 2013. No World Cup starts here, but she has raced here a couple of times.
She's been emerging, I think, more now as the top Russian pilot.
Yeah.
The women for the last year was really her rookie year on the tour.
This is her 25th World Cup start, but she's saying last year really where she started to come of age, and that's really late.
She got too high. Let's see how she gets here. Not too bad there. She corrected well, but 4,200s off the pace. It's like 1,600s. This is going to put her down 8th or 9th.
That's a shame. She was driving herself into the top 6, then she had to really panic steer it off a couple of corners, and that's
much better though in the graveyard. And see if she gets 700s.
Ahead of the Brits.
79.
Yes, just ahead of the Brits by 300ths of a second.
Wasn't perfect. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now there's a bit of Robin Hooding up at the top of the track where she's hauling on the steering ropes with all she's got.
See the body language. She's not real happy. You can tell when these athletes get off the sled a lot of times what they think of their run.
Yeah.
That she wasn't impressed with. Start, 32. Remember, she's like 1,300s down at the start to the best start. This is the mistake, though.
Yeah.
You hit that hard. Look at the sled skidding. You know what steering that is and loss of speed.
Well, think about when you hit a wall with your car.
I don't want to think about that.
You don't. Third of our Germans making her second ever World Cup appearance is Anna Kohler, 24-year-old Junior World Championship silver medalist. Did 10 years of skeleton until she was 20, then started in bobsled. It's her second World Cup start.
11th best start. So let's watch the exit and see if they get through this 3rd to 4 right here. That's pretty good.
Good line. Her brakewoman Ann-Kristin Strack has made 5 World Cup starts with 3 and now a 4th different driver. 6 starts.
Clean lines. But it's 2,407 at the moment.
Well, we talked about how few drivers have been here before. Anna Kohler has never been to North America in her life.
You wouldn't know it the way she walks around.
I know.
Very confident, smiling athlete.
24 years old and full of vim. And not a bad drive at all. Where's she going to end up? 9th, 8th? Oh, double tap before the line.
Before the line. The big Omega watch there. That's the line. She hit twice there.
Yeah.
That's uphill.
But
that's worth a 10th.
Tied to the 100th with Sergeva.
She could have challenged the Bruin 10 more hundreds. Plus, I don't think they got off the blocks properly in the start either.
Yeah. There's been some quite random-looking starts tonight.
Watch your legs, like she skips here or something. Oh,
Yeah,
right there, what's
tripped.
that? No, she hit her foot on the side.
Yeah.
That was weird. Good pickup. Our guys in the truck picked that up. That looked weird. Look, she's talking about it.
Caught a heel or...
Her start should have been better than that. Oh, my mistake.
15 sleds down, 5 to go. First heat of race 2 of the BMW IBSF Women's Bobsled World Cup. 16th of our starters is Elfie Williamson with Sarah Ertz beside her. Martin Haven and John Morgan in the warm and dry, watching this snowy nighttime race here in Park City, Utah.
5th place finish at the event in January of 2016. The Belgian bullet, but then she was driving a different sled. You know, I'm still waiting for the Belgian bullets with these newer sleds from last year to get up into the top 6 or 7, which Elfie was, she medaled a couple of times in 15, 16, 3 times, and then last year, she got on the podium last year.
This is her 5th trip to Park City, so she's got plenty of experience. This World Cup results for Elfie Williamson. She's had 4 silver medals, yet to claim victory.
She's got 11 here. Like 11. Now you got a question about the track. You know how much the track's been cut up here.
She's closing at the line, up to 9th.
Yeah. There's some experience. She was 11th down, most of the way down, 14, 12, 11, 11, 9, 9. That's what you expect on Elfie Williams.
Off the 14th start. Yeah.
16 teams down, 14th first start.
1,400 slower than anybody ahead of her, which should be,
she's 2,500 behind
back.
Jamie Grubel at the start. You know, only 69 at the bottom. How's this? Little
skid,
drift.
tap.
But one of the most experienced pilots in the field, no doubt. Give her a start. I think she'd be on the podium every race.
From somebody who's got plenty of experience to somebody who's got none. Maria Constantina, Romania, the 26-year-old, has never been here. 21-year-old brakewoman Costina Iusko is the youngest in the field. Lake Placid was her first ever ride in a bobsled. This will be her second. 2 8th places for the ex-swimmer Maria Constantin, her best World Cup results. And she manages to match that here. She'll be driving out of her skin. Paul Niagu, the coach, back, giving a bit of encouragement. The wind, as you can see, is blowing pretty much straight into the athletes' faces.
See how steep it drops off there. And you don't see it on television how steep it is right here out of curve 1 to 2. You walk down the track, it's, you know, you'll go, wow, it is steep.
Pick up speed quickly walking, if behind anything else. Good line down into corner 4.
Well, you can say they had a good line there.
Some of the American drivers were worrying about skidding from 3 to 4.
Yeah, the 15th best start, which that's been her nemesis. No doubt about her ability to drive, and I jinx her with that.
Yeah.
She skids into the Wasatch curve.
15th spot at the moment, tying with Sabina Hafner.
Rattling in that sled.
Yeah. Andrea Greco, her teammate, is 14th. So has had the better run.
15th, 106, so she's 900ths behind her teammate.
Yep.
Only 700ths back from the start. So
she is in front of Sabina Hafner. So Hafner really had a horrible run.
Yeah, really.
Now, the Romanians have never seen this place, so any result is a result.
The drift, the skid. Now watch him tap the wall, the straight wall. The take-on is where you get on the curve. The outlet's where you get off. You don't want to tap before you get on the take-on because it throws you in the middle of the curve. And you have to steer more.
So there's Maria. Now up to the 18th of our 20 sleds tonight, and it is the second of the Belgians, 26-year-old Anne van Nieuwenhuis, and 24-year-old former hurdler Shana van Heen, who makes her World Cup debut as a brakewoman. Anne got 7th last time she was here.
This is a 4'11" basketball point. Front seat. She's got a 6-foot smile, that's for sure.
She's been here twice, former brakewoman. Started driving in 2014-15.
4/10 down, that's relative to the start. And she can do what her teammate Elfie Williamson just did. She can improve. She's 14th at the start, still 14th in the splits today.
Identical start to Williamson to the 100th. Elfie finished the run. Yeah.
And she's down to 12.
Yep, here she comes.
Looks like the Belgians have got good setup. Of course, they're good drivers, and that's it. So much for the good drive, because that...
Back down to 14
Look at her
by the line, 13 for the line.
Yeah,
right.
she lost at least a 10th there.
Yeah.
A 10th better, she would have launched ahead into the top 10 ahead of Sergeyeva, Kohler, and McNeil.
But then they had mistakes higher up, didn't they? So
there's a reason we call it the graveyard of time. If you sat down there and did a proper evaluation, you would realize what I say is 10, 1500s you can lose with a hit like that. And there's the crossover from 14 to 15, and then watch the straightaway. So bang, and then it's a steep uphill section of that track.
And Van Nieuwenhuis in 13th spot, 2 sleds to go. Next up, Maria Oshigiri crashed in training yesterday, the only crash in training, so last-minute change of brake woman, and it's a World Cup debut for 22-year-old Moriko Morimoto behind her. Her first ever race in a bobsled. She's never done anything before. So your driver crashes, your teammate can't push, and so you're in. Up you go.
Start 39. Franklin, that was injured, is a great sprinter. Yeah. This was one of the stories of the World Championships last year when she finished top 10.
Yeah, 7th place, Maria Oshigiri.
Best finish by a Japanese athlete ever in bobsledding, the World Championships and the Olympic Games, and they've been around the sport for a long time.
She turned 24 2 days ago, rather, so she is lots of potential for the future for Japan, and currently 16th.
Hans Wimmer, the German, coaching their driving Wimmer sleds 30, 40 years in the sport. The Japanese did a smart job of themselves when they hired him for the last 2 seasons.
Yes.
Look at her pocket. She's a rookie. She doesn't know where to brake, you know.
Yeah, that was hitting on the head, wasn't congratulations. That was get the
put
brakes.
the brakes on.
Get the brakes.
That's a great shot right there.
Right, now she may have concussed her brake woman, possibly. Big smile. Look, you see from the eyes, she's really smiling there. So Moriko Morimoto, just like Shana van Heen, makes her debut here.
Oh, real high there. This is up top of the track, and then when you get up high like that, this causes an exit problem here, and you can see that she's on there at curve too early.
You can hear the girls laughing their heads off down at the bottom of the track. There is Maria Oshigiri. And they are currently in 17th spot with 1 sled to go, and the sled to go crashed out last week. Last in the World Cup rankings is Christina Hengster, who took a silver medal last time here. Still, her best ever World Cup result came on this track.
Well, I think there's a little anger coming out of Christina Hengster, knowing that she crashed in Lake Placid. Good driver. See, those are perfect lines. You know, the start time, 9th best start. This is one of the most experienced drivers in the field.
Sally Decker, only 24, still a very experienced brake woman. 2012 Youth Olympic champion in the girls' bobsled.
She's still not bringing any speed down.
Up to 11th, 10th, starting to close.
Perfect line here. May get her in the top 10.
Oh, that's a good run.
Could sneak in there.
And at the line, she is in 10th, just ahead of Anna Kohler of Germany.
And she's within 900s of 7th. She could move up 3 or 4 places next heat. She went last in this heat, and she'll have a better track to work with in the second run.
We've only got 1 tie in our top 20, but we have a really tight group from outside 6th and 7th down to about 14th spot. A little bit of a smile on the face of Christina Hengster.
Not the way you want to start the Olympic season, crashing in the first heat like she did last week in Lake Placid. How are these lines? Yeah, she's on the wrong side of that straightaway, but no tap in there. Here she crosses over and hits too early in the takedown. You can see the front end come up a little bit.
Again, very different conditions from training. And racing at night, training at day, so everything looks different under lights and in the
It
shades.
was Indian summer here at 5 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah, wasn't it?
50-plus degrees.
Shirt sleeves yesterday, waders overnight, and then full Arctic gear by this evening. Our race is underway then here in Park City, Utah, and leading the first heat, a North American top 3, Lana Myers-Taylor 3rd, Kaylee Humphries 2nd, but Jamie Grubel-Poser, who has never won on this track, is currently our leader.
Her brakeman, Lauren Gibbs, she was the winner in last week's race.
She was.
Might be the good luck charm, or most importantly, they had the best start time.
Yes, they did.
Which also has a lot to do with your downtime.
Lauren Gibbs will be selling herself as the good luck charm around the American drivers. So there you go, 3 US drivers in the top 4. Kaylee Humphries at the moment preventing a clean sweep, but top 4 1800s, that's where the medalists are coming from.
Look at Reinbold.
And then look behind, Schneider, Yamanka, 400s for the battle of the best of the Germans. The Canadians, 300s apart behind. I think there's a lot of inter-Nissan rivalry going on. And then one tie, Anakola and Nadezhda Sergeva of Germany and Russia ahead of Misha McNeil by 300s. It is very close as ever we expect here in Park City. Now, we've got a 4-man race before we get back for the second heat of the women's race. So stay with us for lots more action here from Park City, Utah.